that you need to tell your customers about your brand. You need to provide very detailed description of your products. It could mean that you need to have a very good store assistant so you can communicate. Or it could also mean that you need to have a good connection from your e-commerce platforms with your social networks. So what does good value mean? It's not necessarily cheaper. It could be that they are buying something that they cannot get from somewhere else. It could be that they can get free samples, free NAS packages. And convenience, it's not just like I can sit home and wait for my delivery to come home. It's also about how fast my server and my connection is, and how friendly the navigation is designed. And the process of registration, is it very easy? And also the delivery, return, and exchange policy is workable for me. Confidence. So confidence, first thing, you need to describe your brand, your products honestly. And then you need to assure that what you promise to the consumers are really come true. You promise 7 days, no reason return, and you have to make it. And confidence also means that you need to set realistic expectations for them and keep your promise. And then pleasure. Pleasure is extremely important for certain brands. That firstly means that you need to have a very graphics work if you're luxury brands. And the second means that you need to have shopping assistants that will make them feel that the whole shopping experience is good, communication is good, they're being nice to me, I'm well served. And also, eventually, if you can exceed the customer's expectation, that would be fantastic. Before I'm going onward, I want to say that these 5 things are important to do, but you don't need to prioritize all of them. What you have to do is you have to think what are your customer segments and which segments are most important to you when you try to target them online. I'll give you an example. Say we're looking at a new coming fashion brand, not so well known in China, have little physical presence offline. So they have different consumer groups in tier 1 cities versus lower tier cities. So those consumers in tier 1 cities, they're sophisticated. They probably already know about the brand, and they have a lot of choices in and out of China. In the lower tier cities, they probably don't know about the brand, but they could still have money to afford that brand. And e-commerce's function to tier 1 cities are more about how can I provide with my customers with better convenience and better value. And better value, that could mean I'm providing something exclusive online, or I'm providing discounted stuff for inventory which is not available offline. But for tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the most important thing is to tell them that I'm here. So it's the information that will be the key things, and how you market to them. And the second thing is how you build the trust with these customers. And they can go to your brand site, they trust your payment, they trust your brand quality and everything. And eventually, when you have the confidence from them, you will find they may have an even bigger consumption power than the tier 1 cities. Even within one city, there may be different consumer groups. So this is a study we did last year for a luxury brand. And what we found is that heavy luxury consumers usually buy in physical stores, and they really have very limited online sources. No matter it's about luxury information or it's their purchasing channel, they really just trust the brand site. Meanwhile, the heavy e-commerce users, they have a lot of sources, and what they do online is really about compare and get the best value out of it. So by understanding these 2 different groups and think about which group you want to target, you really leads to your online strategy, whether you want to have your own brand site or you want to work with these multi-brand channels. What SmithStreet does is to build a bridge between the Chinese consumers and the brands, so make sure that these 2 parties are on the same page. So this is another case we did last year. This is a luxury brand that was planning to launch their Chinese website in China. So we did this test on the reaction of Chinese consumers on this brand. And we found that when the consumers saw this brand website, they actually feel worse about this brand. Actually, this website is a complete copy of their US site. The US site works perfectly well, but in China it doesn't, because Chinese consumers have a lot of questions, a lot of requests. They want to know the brand story. They want to say, I want to see more products on one slide. I want to see more details of the products. And in general, this brand site just don't make them feel luxury. They just don't give them the pleasure they think they should have from shopping luxury. I would like to end this presentation with a case of a Korean e-commerce platform. It's called 时尚起义, and it's doing a pretty good job. And let's go back to the 5 points I talked about. So what this brand did differently from the other platforms is that they provide models. They have a couple of models that are wearing these dresses, and they shoot these models under different scenarios. So it could be in office, could be on the street, could be on a date. And they also provide the size of the model's body, and they provide suggestions on how you can match different pieces together for different occasions. So that way, they're providing first information to the consumers, information on the models and information on the suggestion of the matches. And second, they're making this very easy for the consumers, because once I know that a certain model's size fits for my size, I can pretty much be sure I can wear anything that this model can wear. And meanwhile, this also gives me confidence that when I buy something, I pretty much can be sure that I don't need to return it. And also, this model is pretty. These pictures are wonderful. So when you're browsing this website, you really have a pleasure, even by just browsing the sites and learn how to match your clothes. And another thing is their price point is quite e-commerce friendly, and they're a different platform, independent platform from Taobao. So it's not that easy for consumers to compare with other brands on Taobao, and that actually provides them with a better value to the consumers. Okay, so to summarize that, this brand site is really doing a good job on providing consumers with information, with good value, with convenience, confidence, and pleasure. And after all, they're doing this in a very creative way. So doing 5 plus innovative thinking can really serve your Chinese consumers well online. So at the end of the presentation, do you have any questions?